This Family Life News podcast is made possible by the support of listeners like you.
Next on the 5 o'clock report.
What makes you believe that they are sincere this time?
A level of enthusiasm for getting it done.
We are hopeful that that works out. We have to allow the space to do it.
Iran is stronger now, and everybody in the world knows it.
Now, let's go to the newsroom.
Keeping a close eye on the sky. Another day of air you can wear, as Kevin Williams has been known to say. And along with that, plenty of strong thunderstorms. The severe thunderstorm watch now blanketing large portions of New York and Pennsylvania until this evening.
Another 24 hours in this pure tropical soup. Heat and humidity will prevail. Scattered thunderstorms and showers will result.
Kevin says there is some relief coming, though, for the weekend. His forecast for your area coming up during this newscast. Our other big story is the art of the deal? Well, time will tell. President Donald Trump seems to think he's finally gotten Iran ready to sign on the dotted line to end the war with the U.S. with terms the U.S. can live with, despite the president's public concerns recently that Iran's just been stringing us along the whole time. That question put to him at the White House a short time ago.
What makes you believe that they are sincere this time in wanting to pursue diplomacy?
A level of enthusiasm for getting it done. And we were hitting them very hard for the last 3 days. We're going to hit them even harder tonight. They knew that. We told them exactly what we were going to do. We explained it exactly because there wasn't a thing they could have done about it.
Trump telling reporters a memorandum of understanding could be signed as soon as this weekend in Europe. Former B-2 pilot and retired Brigadier General Robert Spalding tells Fox News.
Well, I think the president realized that the Iranians not only couldn't be trusted, but were hesitant to come to a deal. I think they want to push him into the midterms and see how that goes. Of course, he wasn't going to have it.
So is this deal for real? Members of Congress weighed in this afternoon. House Speaker Mike Johnson.
We are hopeful that that works out. We have to allow the space to do it. We're about 100 days into this conflict, and the Congress has to allow the commander-in-chief to do what it is he's doing. So we'll see how that goes.
Counters New York Democrat Hakeem Jeffries.
Iran is stronger now, and everybody in the world knows it because of their control of the Strait of Hormuz, which was not the case before Donald Trump started this war.
Well, for now, the U.S. blockade of Iranian ports in that strait remains in place. Trump today also announcing he plans to nominate Jay Clayton as the next head of national intelligence. Clayton currently serves as the U.S. attorney for New York's Southern District. He also used to head up the Securities and Exchange Commission. He will replace Tulsi Gabbard, as long as he is confirmed. She resigned last month. Trump has faced strong pushback for naming Bill Pulte from the Federal Housing Finance Agency as the acting director of national intelligence, and that tied into another action in Washington today, a FISA extension that failed in Congress. House lawmakers heading home with a looming expiration date for reauthorizing part of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act that's known by the acronym FISA.
FISA Section 702 allows for warrantless wiretaps of overseas targets. It's been described by officials of both parties as a critical surveillance tool. The law permitting it has never expired, but it's set to tomorrow.
Steve Portnoy, House Democrats blocked the effort this morning with 19 Republicans joining with them against the measure. Democrats cited Trump's support of Pulte for acting director of national intelligence. At the Pentagon, it's back to business as usual after a lockdown today. That's after a reported hazardous materials incident. A Pentagon spokesman later saying that they did some testing and found there wasn't any actual hazard existing there. A second major medical institution with centers worldwide has announced its doctors will stop performing so-called transgender procedures on minors. In a settlement with the U.S. Department of Justice, Ohio's famed Cleveland Clinic will no longer provide transgender services such as puberty blockers, cross-sex hormones, and surgeries to minors at its 6 medical centers over the next 20 years. In addition, the Cleveland Clinic will pay $2 million toward detransitioning care and another $300,000 to resolve billing allegations. Dr. Kurt Michelli, Chief Medical Officer for Do No Harm, a medical organization that seeks to counteract youth-focused gender ideology, tells CBN News.
This is a momentous victory. The evidence just simply isn't there in terms of pediatric medical transition. There's very low evidence of any benefit, and there's significant harm, significant risks, and that includes infertility, cardiovascular effects, impacts to bone health, and certainly the surgeries.
Dr. Ethan Haim was the whistleblower at Texas Children's Hospital, where he worked as a surgeon.
The insurance companies can still push back against paying for the hormones, blockers, and surgeries in certain people, in certain adults and children. So it's easier for the doctors to just fraudulently bill like an endocrine disorder for hormones, pelvic pain for a hysterectomy.
Both settlements could be just the beginning. Last year, the Department of Justice issued subpoenas for medical records for more than 20 children's hospitals nationwide. Then Attorney General Pam Bondi had vowed to hold accountable those who prey on vulnerable children and their parents. Still to come here on the 5 o'clock report, a recap of our top regional stories and highlights from today's noon report feature. First, weather with Kevin.
I'm Kevin Williams, and here is your Family Life regional weather forecast. Another 24 hours in this pure tropical soup. Heat and humidity will prevail. Scattered thunderstorms and showers will result. Cold front across the area late Friday and Friday evening. Behind that front lies a refreshing air mass that will set the stage for it should be a lovely day on Saturday. Next weather maker, though that's fast on its heels, bringing some showers and thunder in our estimation later Sunday and Sunday night. For tonight, warm, muggy, a sultry night. Evening showers and thunderstorms. A stray shower overnight. Low temps not far below 70 for most. For tomorrow, hot, breezy, steamy. Some sun and some thunderstorms. Thunderstorms during the afternoon hours could be quite strong, especially in central and eastern Pennsylvania. High temperatures mid-80s to the mid-90s. Saturday, much less humid, abundant sunshine. Not as warm with a high temperature, upper 70s to the middle 80s.
Thank you, Kevin. Checking the stories, making news where you live across New York and PA. Well, weather certainly has been one of the stories. So how do you beat the heat?
Make sure to stay hydrated. Get into cool areas when possible. Don't spend much time outside on these hot days.
That's Jacob Hazlitt, Public Relations Coordinator for the Mohawk Valley Ambulance Corps in Central New York. He says humidity is really more of a problem than heat this week, and it can be debilitating for the young, the old, and those with compromised immune systems. Mary Cheney with Oneida County Family and Community Services says there are funds available for those who can't afford to keep cool.
We do have assistance programs for people who may be struggling with utility bills. So please contact social services and we can walk them through the application process.
Well, for some folks, it's just not an option to stay indoors cool. Take mail carrier Nathan Jesmer, who tells Spectrum News, you gotta hydrate.
A little muggy. Gotta stay hydrated, you know? I always bring extra water and freeze some water bottles for throughout the day. Keep it hydrated because it gets hot, you know?
Good advice there, though, as we heard from Kevin. It looks like we will get some relief finally this weekend. More reaction to next year's planned phase-out of long-standing Regents exams for New York high school students. They'll no longer be required to pass 5 Regents exams in order to graduate. That is putting some stress on schools, though.
As far as all those, like making sure students are taking the right courses and in the right sequence and taking the right Regents exams and meeting all those requirements, that is a heavy lift for high school.
That's Shelley Larrabee, guidance counselor at Irondequoit High School.
I don't think all of it will be complicated. I think tracking students' individual pathways is going to be what's the biggest complication. What pathways are available to students that we offer in the school.
Assistant Superintendent of Instruction Chrissy Miga tells Spectrum News.
There's a lot of different pieces that I think we have to work through for it to be really successful. But I do think that if done well, it could really benefit all students.
The Regents tests are being replaced by the so-called Portrait of a Graduate that measures academic proficiency in a half dozen areas, encouraging students to be creative innovators, critical thinkers, effective communicators, global citizens, future-focused, and culturally responsive. Pennsylvania Democrats are trying to force a vote in the state Senate on a bill to raise the minimum wage. It's stayed the same for decades in the Commonwealth at $7.25 an hour.
How many days, how many months, how many years we have waited for a minimum wage increase?
We need to speak this into existence.
This is a disgrace, and it's not a national disgrace. It's a Pennsylvania-specific disgrace.
Republicans worry a wage hike will hurt the very people it's intended to help by forcing companies to raise prices, fearing employers won't be able to afford to hire high school and college kids for seasonal work. Beaver County Republican Josh Kale.
If the House Democrats really wanted to raise the minimum wage, they could. Senate Republicans would be willing to negotiate on that, but they don't actually want to do it. They want to use it as a political trick so that they can get the majority in the Senate.
The bill raises the wage to $11 an hour next year, $13 an hour in 2020. $128, $15 an hour after that. Up next, highlights from today's noon feature as our Sarah Harnish speaks with Jesse Floria, editor-in-chief from Focus on the Family, with some timely tips on helping your kids avoid the summer boredom blues.
Jesse, you have worked for Focus on the Family for more than 30 years, and our intent is not to date you, but you oversee some pretty incredible things, and I want people to know about your work. So you oversee the publications of Clubhouse Junior, that's 3 to 7-year-olds, Clubhouse, which is ages 8 to 12, and Brio for teenage girls. We're so glad that's back. And the flagship Focus on the Family magazine. Many might not know that you've also written and co-written more than 50 books, including The Case for Christ with Lee Strobel. So what an honor to have you on the show today and to be able to pick your brain on how to keep kids occupied.
Well, thanks. No, and again, like you said, much of my career has been in that kids ministry space, reaching them, encouraging their growth in their relationship with Jesus Christ, but also making it fun, right? And it can't be boring, because if you're boring, a kid is going to tune you out immediately.
What are some of your ideas to help kids stay engaged this summer?
Kids love that challenge, and they want to be creative, and they're outside-the-box thinkers. So whether it's paging through a cookbook and choosing a recipe that our granddaughter wants to make, or going through old family photos and then maybe reenacting the family photos and shooting a picture and doing things like that. Another thing is just reading. At Focus on the Family in our bookstore, we have a summer reading challenge. A lot of libraries have that as well. And it's also a great way for kids to continue to keep their brain engaged, not have that summer slide where they're really not learning anything. So even something as simple as finding a fun book or a comic, something that will engage your kids, or even like a good deeds club. So this summer in Clubhouse and Clubhouse Junior magazine, we're encouraging the kids to reach out and serve others. So as families, if you just come up with ideas of, how could we do a good deeds club and surprise the neighbors with pulling some weeds, or surprise somebody who has been sick with a home-cooked meal, or whatever it might be, something to really get the kids involved in reaching out to others.
Tell me more about the magazines that you work on.
Well, one thing I love is they're tried and true boredom busters. Next year is Clubhouse's 40th anniversary, and every month we intentionally pack the magazine with stories and crafts and recipes and jokes that they can tell their parents, things that will entertain and educate those kids, and, like I said before, help them grow closer to God.
You mentioned the Summer Challenge in Clubhouse and Clubhouse Junior magazine. Tell me what it entails and how families can access it.
Yeah, we've been doing that for more than 20 years, and we try to switch it up every summer with what the challenge might be. So last summer was a reading challenge, and we had one young man read more than 30,000 pages of books over the summer. We only challenged him to read 2,000, so this was definitely an overachiever. And again, this year we're doing a service challenge. In a couple of years, we know the Summer Olympics are coming to the United States, and so we're going to do a fitness challenge there. The challenges are available to all the readers of the magazine, and we send them a log so they can keep track of what they're doing, and then they can send it in and we give them a prize. So as far as families being involved, it's just really taking those same ideas and doing them in your home, and again, maybe having a prize set out. If your child goes, let's say, through their closet and figures out 10 different items that they aren't using anymore that they could donate, whether it's a toy or some used clothes that they could donate to the Goodwill or something like that.
Our Sarah Harnish with Jesse Floria from Focus on the Family. You can hear the entire feature and all of our Family Life original news features at Apple Podcast, YouTube, Spotify, and FamilyLife.org. This is the 5 o'clock report on Family Life.
You'll never become a truly generous person by trying harder. Hi, I'm Rob West with the Faith and Finance Minute. Ephesians 2:8-9 says, "For by grace you have been saved through faith. It is the gift of God." That means everything begins with grace. We don't earn God's love, and we don't give to prove ourselves. We give because we've already received more than we could ever deserve. That changes generosity completely. It's no longer a burden or a performance. It becomes a response. In Christ, we've been shown astounding generosity. He gave up heavenly riches so we could share in His grace. So when you feel hesitant to give, start by remembering what you've received. And when that truth settles into your heart, open-handed living becomes more than possible. It becomes joyful. Connect with a certified Kingdom advisor who's been trained to deliver financial advice that aligns with your Christian values by visiting our website, faithfi.com.
Thanks, Rob. Finally at 5, we end with a very corny story.
This corn is raw.
I know, isn't it wonderful? It's so crisp.
Of course it's crisp. It's raw.
No, it's terrific. You can just taste the vitamin A and D in here. It's great.
Could we have pills and cook the corn?
The raw corn on the cob scene from 1983's War Games to mark National Corn on the Cob Day, which wouldn't be complete, of course, without a few corny facts. It's believed corn was first domesticated in Mexico thousands of years ago. Over 440 million tons of corn are harvested throughout the world each year. The U.S. is king of corn growers, followed by China and Brazil. However, sweet corn, the variety most of us eat, only accounts for about 1% of all the corn grown in the U.S. The rest is a mix of livestock feed, production of ethanol fuel, or otherwise used industrially. The average ear of corn has an even number of rows, typically 16, containing several hundred kernels with one silk strand per kernel. And while many consider corn a vegetable, it's actually both a grain and a fruit. And that's the corny world we live in for Thursday, June 11th, 2026. Thanks again for joining us. I'm Mark Webster, Family Life News.
Thank you for listening to this Family Life News podcast. If you've been encouraged by what you've heard, please share it with others and click the subscribe button to automatically receive future episodes. Family Life is a listener-supported ministry. Podcasts like this are made possible by your financial partnership. Find out more at familylife.org.